Good evening, Beer Fan TV. Welcome to another video. Tonight we're going to Belgium and we're going to visit Jupiler, and it's going to be poured from the Perfect Draft. So join us.
Mais bientôt, enfin, nous prendrons en main notre destin. Tous ensemble, nous serons prêts à nous battre.
What a video! What a beer! What a beer to have! What a treat! Jupiler. These guys clearly seem to be. I know they used to sponsor the Belgian First Division Football League, which is the equivalent of the Premier League here in the UK, and it's quite clear they're doing some work with the national team. But yes, Jupiler. So tonight, what we're going to do is you're going to have a look at it in a moment. We're going to pour it from the Perfect Draft into there, so you can have a look at the beer in glass. We're then going to rate elements of the beer, and I'm going to tell you what I score it. And then at the very end, I'm going to tell you what I think of it and whether I think it's a good beer to get on the Perfect Draft. And then we'll have a little ramble, a discussion at the end. We'll take it from there. But before we do, you're probably thinking, that's a nice glass. Where did you get it from? Well, Garage Bar. Go and have a look. They've got most of the Perfect Draft, if not all of the beers that are on the Perfect Draft. You can get all your glasses on there. Best bit is you can use the discount code that you can see on the screen. You get 10% off your order, no minimum order, which is pretty good. And they've got another section on there where if you can't find the glass that you want, you can search for it and you can put it in there. And the best bit is they've got a really good accessory section. So you can get things like drip trays, beer mats and stuff like that. And, you know, listen, look, if you're going to have some beers at Christmas or some mates over at some point now, to have a nice little setup at home, can look quite cool. You could get yourself like a little beer mat that you could sling on your kitchen side at home with a matching glass that you can keep on it whilst you're drinking your beer while watching your football, or your mates are over. Put that side so you can see it. And you can get some beer mats maybe if you don't want to go down the route of the beer mat and glass. But the options are there, guys. You can have a really good home setup to make your mates jealous. There's loads of stuff on there to choose from. But you can be the envy of all your friends with a fantastic home bar setup. But yeah, get out there, have a look. Don't forget to use the discount code. And so, we're back. We are back. Jupiler on the Perfect Draft. This is a nucleated glass. There is very minor bubbles in there. Nothing raging. A lot of people I've seen on the Facebook group seem to think this is what Stella used to be. So a lot of this information, I've gone on to the Jupiler's website, and so I'm getting a lot of the information from about the beer. So first off, we're going to bring up the beer score rating system, rate all the beers on this. Eventually, we're going to do a sort of a chart we're going to put the beers on, and we're going to run with it. So we're going to start with, first of all, value for money. Now, Jupiler itself, I'm only aware of the only place you can buy it is in the online bottle shops. Jupiler online. I put Jupiler beer in. Let's see what comes up. About £2.81 for what is a 330ml bottle, or £2.79 beer merchants for a 330ml bottle. And I think you can get a keg of it when I find it. Get a keg of it for £35.90, call it 36 quid. Now you do get a £5 keg return, so we'll factor that in and we'll call it 31 quid for a keg. And that's exactly what I've got here. In the keg you get, those that know, they'll do it. I'll show a little video in a moment of how you load these things in and what these kegs look like. But it's called a Perfect Draft machine. You plug it into your wall, you put kegs in it. It has 6 litres, which equates to about 10 pints. So at £31, it's about £3.10 a pint for drinking beer at home. Alternatively, you can get a bottle for about £2.70, but it's 330ml rather than a pint or 500ml. So I'd probably say doesn't look too bad for getting it in the keg. So price-wise, £3.10 for what is a lager does seem relatively expensive for something you're going to drink at home. But it is Belgian. And I believe, if I have a quick look at the website, it's a Belgian beer and it is 5.2% ABV. So it's a bit punchy. But for what it is, it's a good beer. To me, it doesn't seem a bad price. I wouldn't exactly tell and say, oh my God, it's the best priced beer that I've ever seen. I think fair enough, value for money. Bearing in mind, you can't buy it in your average supermarket. You are going to have to order it online in the bottles, or if you buy it on the Perfect Draft, you're going to buy it in keg form. These kegs used to be a lot cheaper, in all fairness. They do normally have a deal on where you can get 15 or 20% off, but you have to buy in 3s and 5s, and occasionally they'll do 2 for 55. But price-wise, I'm going to give it 3 stars. I don't think, because it's a Belgian beer, it's not a supermarket thing here in the UK like the Camden stuff. It's worth a buy. Artwork on the beer, I do love the bull and the Jupiler name. Perfect. Space beer. But I also like the fact, info on the beer, it's been brewed for a very long time. I had a quick look on their website, on their story, and it tells you that they've been brewing it since about 1853. They actually do have some other beers on their website, as most breweries do, that I've never seen. I've only ever seen the Perfect Draft one. But I like the fact that it is brewed in Belgium. It's not brewed over here in the UK under license. You know, you are getting what you pay for. So I turn around and think, I think the history of the beer and the artwork, I'm going to give it 4 stars. I think it's pretty good. Shtick on the glass, I've kind of filled that up a little bit, but we are getting quite a good bit of lacing on the glass, which is hanging around a bit. The head has dissipated a little bit. That's because I'm chaffing. But head retention wise, not great, but the shtick on the glass is pretty good. Tells me the conditioning's all right in there. It has got small bubbles, bit of glass haze. Look what you get in the pub. Chill haze, you might say. But I'd say shtick on the glass, all right. I'm going to give it 3 stars. Taste, let's have a go. Now, let's have a quick look. When I went to their website to get a rough idea of what I should be looking for when it loads up. So it should be an easy drinking and enjoyable classic lager. And it tells you on here that it should be bittersweet tastes, mellow flavours, and sort of crisp, refreshing finish. So, what you got there? That is really nice. Spoiler alert, I've had it before. Done a review on it a couple of years ago when I first started doing Beer Fan TV. It is a really nice, and it reminds me of one of those continental lagers. It's very refreshing, light bitterness to it. It's got a really good body to it. It's not thin, and you know, there's no skunkiness to it. Light pepperiness to it. Almost a very slight citrusiness to it I'm getting. And but it is just kind of that mellow flavour. But do you know what it is? It's not dry. It's not dry. And the bit I like about it is it's refreshing. And I would say it's a really good beer to have with food, sort of dark meats. I think it would be really good with a burger, like a barbecue. I think it'd be great. Cheers. It is really nice and just so smooth and easy to drink. The light bitterness that you get from it gives it that continental kind of twist. I'm spilling that. Don't go crazy. I spilled it down my leg. Shit. But there's a little whiz up, look, and it builds it a head back up on it. That's the condition that it's got. It's a good beer. The way it's brewed, it is a really good beer. And it even actually says on here, actually, 5.2%. Versatile beer, almost universal appeal, the perfect companion at a barbecue. It even says it on there, or a big match day. It is a bit like one of those beers. It doesn't have anything over that's overpowering. You know, if you sometimes drink a beer that's got something about it, distinctive taste, you know, you can get tired of that over time. Whereas this, I think you could definitely drink more of them. So, taste-wise, really lovely, really good. I'm going to give it 4 stars. I definitely think it's one of the better lagers on there. So, if you are new to the Perfect Draft, or you are looking at some of the other beers, you probably haven't seen Jupiler before because you wouldn't have seen it in the supermarket. But people talk about it being a bit like what Stella used to be before it got changed to the UK brewed version. It's a long time since I've had that, but I used to like the old Stella on the Perfect Draft. I'm not so keen on Stella brewed here in the UK. it's got a bit more of a bitterness to it and not as enjoyable, a bit thinner. I would say that if you're looking at getting a lager that you've not had, Jupiler is definitely worth a shot. I would say my go-to beers on that machine is, Sally used to be one of them, not anymore. My go-to ones are the Lambrau and the Spaten. Spaten probably over the Lambrau. Really like the Spaten. And I'd say Jupiler's on there as well. Those three, because they're brewed here. Sorry, not brewed here. They're brewed in the country of origin. They're not, brewed under license. None of that malarkey. You're not going to be messed about with what you've got. I think it's one of the best ones. I think when you look at the Perfect Draft website now, I've got to go careful because I don't want people to think that I'm bashing the Perfect Draft, because I'm not. I've had my Perfect Draft for years, and I actually really like it. When I have a quick look now, they've got so many different beers on there now. From when I first got it, the number of beers that were available significantly jumped. Today they've got 19 lagers, and I don't know if that's in stock or what's available. But when you look at the top page of the lagers that are on there for the Perfect Drafts, you've got Stella that comes up as number one. I think that is one of their biggest sellers here in the UK. I think people love it, even though they've kind of switched it to being brewed here in the UK. And it's not like it's a disgusting beer, and it absolutely, violates what beer should be. Not at all. What doesn't sit well with me is the way they've gone from kind of offering a product that was the proper Belgian Stella. I've done videos on it. Have a look. Getting the taste across in the video can be difficult, but you can see the beer in the glass. It looks like a different beer. They now brew it here in the UK, so it's not the Belgian Stella. There is a taste difference. There's a quality difference, in my opinion. I've told the story before, but they're still charging you the beer that it was before, and to me that doesn't seem quite right. I think that it must be cheaper for them to do it here now, and it's not the same product, and it shouldn't cost you £35.90, in my opinion. That doesn't sit well with me. But anyway, I'm rabbiting on. You look at the other beers they've got on there, the Hawkstones Lager, that's a good one. Lauenbrau, one of the better ones. Mahou, I've not actually had Mahou on the Perfect Draft yet. I've got a keg of it down there to have, but I had it out of can. Seems pretty good. One of their new releases is the Singer, £39.90. It's one of the more expensive ones, but it's brewed here in the UK. It's not the one that's from Thailand, I think. Thailand. Not the same. Same with the Corona. I've had Corona once on the Perfect Draft, and I thought it was all right, but it's not the brewed in the UK one. Tennant's, you know what you're getting with Tennant's, £35.90. V Aroma, don't get me started on that. It's a rebrand wrap. Forget it. Camden Hells. Camden Hells, nice. I had that when it first came out, done a review on it. It's okay. The Stella Artois unfiltered, it's okay. And then you've got the Spaten, which is a good keg, and then Budweiser. I won't even go any further. But that's just the first page of the lagers that were available. And I'm not knocking the Perfect Draft for what it is, because when I first got into the Perfect Draft, it was a very different proposition, because the beers were all the foreign beers. None of it was brewed under license here in the UK. That's the first thing. Look at the condition. Look, you can really whip it up, give it a little whip, and you get your head back. Amazing. Don't know where I was going with that. Lost train of thought, or track of thought. But yeah, no. When it first came out, it was all foreign beers. Now they're turning it into the stuff they can brew here in the UK. In the last 18 months, they've released a lot of stuff that's, what everyone was saying here is like, that's a supermarket beer. That's a supermarket beer. The reason being is they've got a kegging factory. So the bit that puts me off the Perfect Draft now is that not only are they kegging them here in the UK, but they're taking the stuff like the Stella, the Budweiser, the Singer, the V Aroma. This is just off the first page, Stella Unfiltered, and Budweiser, and they're rebranding it, but they're kegging it all here, and it's not the same beer. And I think, but they're charging the same price for it. So that doesn't sit too well with me. But there is some really good, still there are some really good beers on the Perfect Draft. If you're thinking of buying one, don't be put off by what I've said, because when you look at some of the beers on here, if I just look at all of them for argument's sake, like the Franziskaner Royal, which is a like a Vice beer, but it's only released once a year. Brilliant beer. You can only get it either in bottle, imported, or you get it on the Perfect Draft. The Lef is another one that's just come up on here. I've just basically unticked all the lagers and everything. And Lef is, it used to be 6.6% Belgian brewed. It's now brewed here in the UK under license. Ruined that. Orchard Pig, that's a good one. Orchard Pig, good side of that. The Mahou's good, it's Spanish brewed. Jupiler we know about. Old Peculiar, very popular beer in the bottle. You can get 10 pints of it at home, draft version at home. I'll just go to the next page. I want to be here all day. But they do some really good ones, like Vocation, Life or Death. Amazing. It's going to cost you 43 quid for the keg. Take £5 off for the returns. Ghost Ship, you know, there or thereabouts, isn't it? Spaten. Some of the French IPA, I've not actually had that. And then the St. Fulian again, and then they've also got the Vocation Hop, Skip and Juice. There is some really good beers on the Perfect Draft, and if you're going to spend your money to buy one, definitely try them all. There is some there that you could probably skip and save. But yeah, top tips though, if you're a lager drinker and you're looking to put together a little keg pack 3, and we're not going to talk about the Oktoberfest stuff, I would definitely recommend the Spaten, the Lauenbrau, and the Jupiler. Them 3. If you're a lager drinker, I don't think you can go wrong with it, to be honest. But yeah, so yeah, good beer. Love it. I've had it before. I knew what to expect, really, in all fairness, but I've not had it for a few years. Because when you do buy a Perfect Draft, you want to try all the kegs. I mean, there's how many? I don't even know. 50 odd. 47 beers on there. And, you know, if you do one a week, you're doing well. It'll take nearly a year without any new releases to work your way through the whole collection. So there's loads to choose from. But I think the main thing is, though, guys, you know, life is too short to drink crap shit beer. So get yourself some good stuff. If you are going to spend money, enjoy it. Buy the stuff you like. And Jupiler, in my opinion, is definitely one of the better ones on the Perfect Draft. Definitely highly recommend it. This has been a way longer video than I thought it was ever going to be. But listen, it's been a pleasure, guys. Cheers, and I'll see you on the next one. Oh.